Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together.
This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. Welcome back to my podcast, Ascended Earth. I'm Monica Bermudez. I am your host, and I want to share a special message that is in relation to quantum travel. So lately I've been having a moment of epiphany in the timeline. So shifting into this 2026 is a whole new way of looking at nonlinear time. And it's almost like um, going into a time travel where we bring in the whether it's future or past, we anchor in or bring in that energy in the present moment. So calling it like a future present now or a past present now. And then there's the present of the now, in this current state. So I feel like I've been like slipping into these quantum time travels and I'm usually like if I'm asked a question or if I'm thinking of something, I'm asking the question myself, it's almost like I get an answer through different ways. And so I'll get a specific date, and sometimes I'll just end up in that date. It's almost like physically in present moment, energetically, and everything. I'll somehow shift into the energy of it. And I'll hear very specific, right? In this instance, I was hearing January 26, 2026, very specifically. And I have no appointments on that date. So it's just like a really strange, um, weird, way that it shows up in my energy field. And sometimes I feel like in July of like 2026 or, and then it takes me a while to like really come back and say, wait a second, what date am I in right now? So I had to like say, the present moment to bring myself back into the energy field itself. And it's not that I'm not being grounded or anything. It's just a very different feeling of energy, feelings of timelines and feelings of this quantum time travel is what I'm calling it. And so for this, though, I want to share, a little more about the date of January 26th because it is a huge download of information that I got after I looked it up. And I found that it is a very significant astrological event that is happening. It's not just any date on the calendar, but the fact that I was brought to that point, that I was being shown that or emphasized is a very significant thing, that a download of information that is so important for us to know. Especially now that with the January 11th of 2026, this really started this whole trajectory of anchoring of points of manifestation, of setting intentions for the year ahead. And so January 11th of 2026 really started that, amplifying that energy. So there's still time to set, intentions moving forward if you're listening to this after January 11th. Um, and then, we're going to be approaching the new moon that's in Capricorn. I believe it's like January 18th. And so that will be another point of manifestation as well. So again, it doesn't matter when you listen to this episode, still you can still set those intentions, for yourself. And just get that energy momentum moving. Um, So this date has been coming to my awareness very consistently. It's not just like it's not just the one time, but it's just been very consistent, which is why what led me to want to understand what is up with this date specifically. And, I've been like pulling it in or anchoring it into this future, present moment in my presence right now and grounding it. Um, for us and to share with you of this download of information. A little on the quantum time traveling, what I'm talking about here. Quantum time travel isn't like sci-fi here. Although a lot of the science fiction stories have some truth to them. And as I've shared previously, Arthur C. Clarke used to have these fiction stories that were talking about satellite communication. And this was like early 1900s or sometime 1900s before the actual satellite communications were a physical reality. So, with some of that science fiction stuff, there is some truth to that. And it all ties into the information I want to share about January 26th here and the manifestation, the amplification of this, because we are now in this whole year of the number one for 2026. And so this one is like an anchoring point of manifestation and setting, powerful intention, especially for the month of January. So it's about the conscious tuning into a future moment, pulling its potential energy into today, and talking about quantum time travel here. It's weaving timelines, not escaping the present, but strengthening our capacity to hold future inspired awareness now. So this is what is all linked to manifestation as well. So this is how I've been also sensing dates for my programs and events. And whenever I'm planning like an event or a date, I sense energetically that this date or this month aligns well without knowing exactly why. And it's not until much later that I hear there's some astrological event that is going on for this date specifically. And that's exactly what happened here with January 26th, which I'll get into some more details about it. Um, so this isn't about losing the present, being ungrounded. It's about anchoring this future possibility into the now. So you can become a conduit of future potentials that feel alive in the present moment. And a lot of things which I also teach, my monthly programs about manifestation and new ways to be an embodiment of anchoring it into this present moment now. So now let's get into January 26, 2026, and why this date. It's a very distinct astrological signature that aligns with what I'm sensing. So apparently, Neptune officially moves into Aries and stays there for a long-term transit. So it's like a transit point that we're talking about. And I didn't know until I was, quantum time traveling into that date very specifically. And I received that download of information like much later that I had to look it up to what was going on. But in relation to that, and I'll get to the download of information, but let me share some more of what this all means. Neptune's ingress marks a shift from the dreamy, dissolving energy of the Pisces to the bold, initiatory energy of Aries. So this sets the stage for a new collective archetype where, our imagination is now fused by an action, because Aries is the action, and where visions are not just dreamt, but, begin to actually be actualized into courageous initiative. Um, and this matters because Neptune, which is, emphasized by intuition, imagination, and vision. And when it enters Aries, those qualities express in this assertiveness and a pioneer-like energy. It's almost like reinventing yourself, um, or those ideas that you have, those dreams that you're having, becoming an actual action step reality. So Aries, is the first zodiac sign, and the zodiac sign cycle is considered to be the first one, which usually gets ignited in March. And so it's a very symbolic energy of beginnings, of courage, identity, and action. So, this combination suggests that we're entering a phase where visionary impulses are translated into bold real world expression. So, really taking the courage to make a vision, a dream, into a reality. So, in the long term, Neptune will stay in Aries for the next decade, plus shaping collective, imagination, individual expression in a new dynamic way. So, they're talking about that this astrological transit Neptune will remain in Aries for maybe about like 2038 or 2039 or so. So for like about a decade. So this doesn't just influence, each one individually, but it also redefines how we dream and lead and create and embody purpose, but also embody wealth and, a lot of the things when it comes to our wealth and our prosperity and our abundance. So here's where the inner and outer converge. So my own experience, I've been sensing, dates as active energetic waypoints. And, as I've been sharing, points in time that feel like portals that can be anchored into the present. January 11th, which, is the day that feels like that's when it all started to build up a momentum where awareness begins to like align more fully towards like January 26th, because during this week of manifestation as well is when new seeds of intentions and dreams are amplified even more so and is building up for that transit of Neptune entering Aries. Action steps. January 26th, a nodal point where future potential becomes accessible here and now. February 17th is when the lunar new year happens, when we enter the fire horse, the year of the horse. And that fire is all about action as well. Aries is also ruled by the energy of fire. So this is another waypoint where the energy ripples forward. And it's also a day when it's an eclipse. So this is another like celestial marker reinforcing transformation. And eclipses on or near the date of 2026 are not, are noted astrologically, um, of having these energetic influences on us as well. The energy of eclipse energy lasts for several months um, of transformation, and they are a death and rebirth type energy. So this is a really big transit, a really big cycle that we're entering right now with this whole Neptune in Aries. And how does this all relate to the present moment practice for us? And this is where I want to bring it in practical for you to share some things that you can start doing as well. So quantum, time travel is not leaving the now. It's strengthening the present moment in the now by holding a strong focus intention on a future moment. And then we collapse the probabilities towards that expression today. Present moment focus because becomes a vehicle for future inspired outcomes. So here's something to practice. Beloved, if you're craving deeper connection, intuitive expansion, and consistent energetic support, join me inside the Frequency Resonance Lounge. This is a monthly Master Heart Circle, moon ceremonies that includes the full and new moon, and a private community for connections. Link is in the show notes. If you're listening and wondering how this impacts you, here are a few ways to engage with this new cycle. Curiosity over certainty. You can approach January 26th with intentions with curiosity rather than a fixed expectation. So, not getting attached to the expectation, but just having that wisdom within your heart and really just like working on those intentional focus, setting intentions, grounded in what you want to actualize, not just what you fear or avoid. So really looking at it from a higher octave of manifestation of outcome, and not focus on what was, but focus on what is moving forward. A very focused, intentional focus. Um, and then notice any synchronistic messages or pulls that you're feeling, whether it's dates or meetings, ideas or insights, and pay attention to what keeps showing up consistently. Are you seeing repetitive numbers like 111 or 222, 333, waking up in the middle of the night around specific times, or seeing some very vivid dreams with a deep message? So remain, rooted in the present. Real change unfolds through present moment clarity, not escaping time, but living into it from a place of coherence, of heart coherence. So, in closing, January 26th is not just a calendar date, it's a signal, a marker of a long-term energetic shift in a moment where imagination and action begin a new dance. Hold your present moment, focus with curiosity and openness, and watch how the future begins to weave into the now. So take this with, um, what resonates for you, and just implement and practice those really intentional focus um, outcomes that you envision for yourself, that you want to anchor into this whole new reality to shift the timeline. And so that is really just like a quantum time traveler in a way of energy weaving in a whole new way. And 2026 facilitates with this whole new energy, this whole new frequency. It's like a frequency of playground of being the ultimate creator, of really shifting your reality. Well, that's what I'm going to be doing for these next few days, especially in January. So it doesn't matter when you listen to this episode, always keep anchoring in those new frequencies and those new vibrational energies, of intentions, um, especially when it comes to new moon points. And so there's always plenty of new moon anchoring energy focus points for anchoring in the energy manifestation. Manifestation happens every day. So, but these days in particular are emphasized because of its focus energy points all coming together energetically and being amplified. And that's why they are so important to make a note of. So I hope this was very useful for you, but thank you for tuning in, keeping notice, and keep questioning, keep exploring your unique trajectory in this timeline. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.